I think that bill should be reintroduced. Actually, I'm in support of that, and it's a good news because I believe that every girl child in Nigeria should have an equal opportunity, good education, healthcare system, should be given the opportunity to develop their skills, and they should not be subjected to child slavery into early marriages. But it's so unfortunate that what happened last time happened, and I think this is not the first time. The same Senator Yerima, the same person who supported the child marriage, is still the same person talking. And of course, during the last Senate, we saw what happened when even David Mark said he was blackmailed, in passing the bill. When I don't know what came over them, some of the senators were regretting after signing that bill into law. I think we'll need to, at this point in time, we all need to stand up and talk. It's not something that should be limited on the floor house of the Senate alone. Every organization, human rights activity, everybody need to put hands on deck because if we leave this thing to continue, it will put us in a very bad shape. It will put us in a bad spot. Even if you look at what uh, United Nations is talking about, UNICEF and the rest of them. I mean, it's not really portraying a good image of our country.
All right, let me just ask how comfortable are you with the name of the bill? Because that seems to have generated some form of debate as well on Twitter.
Well, first and foremost, I would say the bill should be presented not from the perspective of being a men versus women bill. It's not a bill that should be seen as women rising up against women, against men to fight them or to be aggressive to them. It should be a bill that should be presented from the fact that women want to be recognized as human beings and to be allowed to have the rights that a normal human being should have. Women are not asking for more than that. And first and foremost, I would say the problem of the bill starts even from the title of the bill. Typically in most countries, in most cultures in Nigeria, when you start talking about equality, most men feel their wives are trying to compete with them and to say they're not the heads of the family. Our culture says, of course, that men are the heads of the family. So a man is not going to exchange that for anything. And I think the title of the bill itself already killed the bill before some of the members of the Senate, because to them, it was an aggression against their territory, which is their home and their lives and all that. So first of all, we have to start from even retitling the bill, from enlightenment, from making the topics in the bill known and making the wordings as understandable as possible, as simple as possible, as uncomplicated as possible, so that it's not something that people misunderstand. Let A be equal to A and B be equal to B. I know it's supposed to be a legal document, but it should be written in such a language that is not just full of legal jargons that a typical Nigerian man or woman will be confused by what it means.
Do you remember there was a time in this country where twins were actually killed? And we've gone past that now. And today, many twins are actually thriving and doing very well in our society. And also, we need to look at the fact that the issue of dowry is also reducing. A lot of families now wouldn't even accept any dowry on a girl child or in marriages anymore. And that is also a good sign as to where we are in terms of development. Then let's also liken this to the fact that it is about human rights. It's not tribalism, sexism. It's the same as, all kinds of other forms of discrimination. It is simply saying a set of gender should dominate the others just because they feel they are more superior. But if we've ever found women as engineers, women as pilots, women as doctors, women as scientists, women in government, it shows you that it goes beyond the human nature. So why are we holding ourselves back? So I think a lot of enlightenment.
All right, and lastly, before we go, what do you think civil society organizations and civil rights groups should be doing at the moment, or even feminists, because they also have been adding their voices to this conversation?
Well, I, for one, would like the civil society to come in. And the reason why I would say that is because civil society have been working in a lot of gray areas that probably a lot of us have not been to. I've had a little argument with a friend a few days ago, a lady for that matter, and she was skeptical that there's a culture in Nigeria where women are not allowed to inherit. Now, we know that there are cultures like that in Nigeria where it is just the male that inherits, or just the firstborn that inherits. So, you know, those are problematic areas. And we have NGOs that have been working in such areas. They have the facts, they have the documents, so they can present it in a clearer and way, such that everybody can understand that, yeah, this is true. They have the documents and everything. It's not a matter of just being frivolous. You know, so I would like the civil society to be involved in this. I would like every civil society, for example, not just the one that has to do anything with gender, you know, the ones that have to do with health, the ones that have to do with family issues, the ones that even have to do with scientific and human resources issues. If they can come in and contribute to make this bill understandable, it would be very, very good.
Rwanda's case, yes, a lot of people would say it's because of the genocide that took place there and that many of the men were indicted. So, with the leadership of only the women stepping up today, we have more women in parliament. But it isn't only about the quota in the parliament that we should actually look out for. Let's look at where the country is on the radar of the international development in terms of the country's chances of growth, in terms of their GDP. So for me, I don't think that actually throwing out the old bill, if there are parts of the bill that is quite sentimental, then we could look at it and definitely negotiate it. But throwing the old bill out is like throwing the bathwater out with the baby in it. And I don't think that's the way forward for our nation.
I've read the bill now. I was able to download it and I read it. And I would say that it is basically a bill that nobody should be afraid of. If there are issues in the bill we should talk about, we should sit down and talk about it. When a bill is presented to the National Assembly, it's not just supposed to be an A and nay thing. It's supposed to be something that should be debated, should be talked about, should be discussed. Let's argue about it. Let's amend the places that we're not comfortable with. Nigeria is made up of over 500 tribes. And of course, cultures differ, traditions differ. We can bring in the different clauses. Let's discuss as a people and decide, okay, for my area or for this is not right. Let's put it this way and let's talk about it and let's understand each other and then make it a bill that is all encompassing. At the end of the day, not everybody will say yes, of course, but at the end of the day, a majority will understand it and then we'll be able to move forward from there.
I think what the Senate members also need to understand is this is not about the advocates. It is not about the civil society. It is about their own children, their own sisters, their own brothers, their own daughters, wherever they are, that one day they may not be able to protect. And this legislation would definitely protect their rights. For example, one of the things in the law is demanding that women should be able to take be in charge of the property and being custodians of the children. In this day and age, nobody would like to take care of another family member. So why not protect your family and let your immediate family be the beneficiary of your hard work? Why would you leave that to an extended family that could decide to name the future of your children? So it is common sense in some direction as well. And they are also having daughters. We are still waiting for the Chibok girls to come back home. There's increase in abduction of girls in the society. That is not showing a Senate that is quite sensitive and down to earth with the feelings of women.